guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Thanks for passing by. We are actually at week 3 of our series on how to buy a house. So welcome. If it's your first visit, then you pop back and have a look at the other videos in this series, and also just the other videos I've done in general. I've got a lot of property videos, but also just about me, lifestyle, motherhood. Have a look, check it all out. And if you haven't already, connect with me on social media. So I'm usually on Instagram. My handle is at Ms. BRJ or MS_BRJ. So yeah, check me out. Let's get stuck into this week. So this week we've got our finance in place. We've found the property, the perfect house for us, and now we've had our offer accepted. That's the end of the story, right? Well, obviously not. The story's just beginning, and I think this is a stage that is oftentimes neglected in the storytelling of how to buy a house, or the process in itself. We sort of do the search and then do the once you get the keys, but there is just a little section that is actually a process, and I found myself really frustrated in that process as well, and people have asked me about it, or also been caught off guard just as I was, like, wow, this is a real thing. So I thought I'd do this quick video. It shouldn't be long, but I talk a lot. So I'm gonna try and keep it short, but yeah, it's just to whiz through what actually happens once your offer's been accepted, or what should be happening. So, first of all, how long is the process from your offer being accepted to getting the keys? Now, usually that process is about 6 to 10 weeks. It can vary. If you're lucky, it may be shorter, but if you're not lucky, but sometimes it can be a bit longer. So 6 to 10 weeks in a normal case. That's like no change, so you're not waiting on the seller to complete on another property before you can complete on that property. Like, there's no technicalities, it's just a straightforward house buy or flat buy. That should take around 6 to 10 weeks. So what happens? Hi, I want to offer 200,000 on 25 Apple Tree Road. I'll put the offer in. Oh, your offer's been accepted. Brilliant. What happens next? First of all, once that offer has been accepted, can you confirm that the property has been taken off the market? Because you don't want to be stressing about somebody just coming in and being like, oh, actually, I'll have that one. So you want the property to be taken off of the market. This happened to me, I think last week or this week. I had a viewing booked. I had a viewing, I think the viewing was at 1:30. They called me at 10 a.m. and said, oh, I'm so sorry, Bianca. We've just sold the property, so, it's not on the market anymore. Annoying for me, but, that's what you want. You don't want anybody else coming in the property once your offer's been accepted. I thought, let me ask how much it sold for. But she did her job well, and she didn't tell me, because my thinking was, if it falls through, at least I know what they've gone for. But, they said, oh, we can't tell you that, but if it does fall through, we'll give you a call and you can go around and see the property. Bottom line is, you want that property off the market once your offer's been accepted. So then the first thing that you now need to do, or the second if we're counting making sure it's been taken off the market, is instruct your solicitor. So yes, you do need a solicitor for buying a house. They deal with all the legal side of things. They deal with like the contract of the sale. They deal with just making sure that it's defined, the parameters of the property that you're buying. What else do they do? They also define parameters. Oh, the searches. Yeah, so there's a load of searches. Like, I think they need to check land registry, just make sure that there's nothing against the house, that the owners of the house are actually the owners of the house. They do all of that. So you need a solicitor for that. You can't do that. So those are things that they need to do. They check for things like landmines, if it's a known landmine area, if it's sitting on anything. Like, they really do. It's annoying sometimes, but they're needed. You need to know all of these things before you can actually before you want to buy. You don't want to be buying something to find out there's a landmine in your garden. Like, no, that's okay, thanks. So yeah, instructor, solicitor. You can pick these up from anywhere really. You can find them on Google or any other search engine. You can, I would, anything to do with sort of house buying and anything important, I would recommend that you use word of mouth. So speak to people that you trust, people that you know have been active in house buying, and ask them who they've used. Now, if you asked me, I would tell you definitely don't use the people I use, because on my last purchase they were a nightmare. But that's also good feedback to have as well, rather than just a random negative review online. You can have somebody that you have a relationship get their word for it. So just as well as getting recommendations, you'll also get people, yeah, don't use them. But I think talk to people, because that's how you can get somebody who someone else vouches for, someone that you trust vouches for. What else? So then, yeah, so you've instructed your solicitor. Then you need to instruct or inform your broker, your mortgage broker, or if you haven't used a broker, just let your mortgage provider know. I've always used a broker, and I definitely recommend using a broker. They vary in price. I think there are actually some people that you can get for free as well. But definitely, I think use a broker. And they will basically get the ball rolling in, okay, informing the mortgage company, the mortgage provider, letting them know. They're also sort of like the middleman, because in order for the mortgage provider to release the funds, they need a survey, a RICS, the property to be surveyed by a RICS surveyor. And so these people are basically just like chartered surveyors, and they do two things. They can tell you the value of the property, and also just the structural state of the property. So even if it's in disrepair inside, just that the property is structurally sound. There are different levels of reports that you can, like in-depthness, but it's basically just the structural soundness of the property. This is something you have to pay for unless you're on like a special deal that it's included in your mortgage product. It's usually something you have to pay for, and it's usually something you pay for, you know, before anything's completed. So it's in order for the surveyor to go to the property, you need to pay him. It's a few £100, I remember. I think it's like 150, I can't remember. But I'm guessing it varies from surveyor to surveyor. So the mortgage property, if you're providing it yourself, it needs to be someone who's RICS chartered surveyor. Usually, and the times that I've done it on both remortgaging and mortgaging properties, it's always been sort of arranged by my broker, but using the surveyor that the mortgage company have suggested. So that's that. I've got notes down because I do want to make sure that I'm telling you everything. So yes, you inform your mortgage broker. Then the next step is to exchange and pay deposit. So this exchanging is now when you are officially making a legal commitment to buy this property. It's not yours just yet, but this is like the first legally binding thing now, that if you turn around and said, actually no, I don't want this property anymore, now you're going to lose your deposit. So you're going to lose that chunk of money and anything else that you've spent up until this point. Up until this point, you can change your mind. You can pull out. If your circumstances change or whatever happens, you can pull out up until this point. Obviously, it's not going to be the best thing in the world, and whatever you have spent so far, you will have lost. But now, once you exchange, it's a legal commitment now. And obviously you've paid your deposit, so you're not getting that back. That's a big bit of money that I'm sure you don't want to lose. So yeah, that's what happens when you exchange. So it's a term that you'll hear people say, oh, when do you exchange? That's what's happening. You're exchanging contracts, you're putting your deposit in, and you are legally committed to buying this property. You've not bought it yet, but you're legally committed to buying it. And then you'll have the completion. And that is basically when the property is yours. You get handed the keys. This is your property, here you go. Pop the bottles, do whatever you want, celebrate, yay, this is your property, you now own it. You can set the date. It's good to sort of get a date in as soon as possible, just so that all parties have a working goal, because otherwise God knows when you're complete, because yeah, it's just left to their devices, this can drag on for months if you're not on it. So completion is when the property is actually yours, the mortgage provider have released the funds, and you own the property. You get the keys, you can move in. The previous owners, because you are now the current owner, the previous owners have moved out, it's yours. And then after that, you have at least 30 days to pay your stamp duty. And that is, again, that's usually handled by your solicitor, and that's not usually something that you have to really concern yourself with, but it is worth just checking, confirming with the solicitor that the stamp duty has been paid. There should usually be some sort of trail for you to see that it's been paid. And that's what happens once you put your offer in and it's accepted. Like I said, that usually takes 6 to 10 weeks. One thing I would say, and I've mentioned this before, is be prepared to be that person. And when I say be that person, I mean be that person who is calling up every week, every day, because sometimes things just get lost in piles on people's desks, and this is your life. This is just another case for them. Now, obviously, we want to be working with people who don't treat it like that, but life is life. People have heavy workloads. So we just want to be reminding people that, hey, remember 25 Apple Tree Road or whatever it was, you know, what's happening with that? Have the searches come through on that? Last week you said we were waiting for this search. Are we still waiting for this search? Last week you said we were waiting for a signature. Have you had that signature back? Do I need that? What do I need? And another thing actually is I really advise is at the beginning of this process, once your offer's been accepted, I would have a word with my broker and my solicitor and ask them what they need from me or what they may need from me, so that if anything comes up, if the mortgage broker comes back, the mortgage lender comes back and says, oh, actually, we need to know this, or we need to know another month's salary, or we need to know her last year's salary because she gets overtime, and we just want to know consistently what that has, the story of that overtime since the last year previous. That's not a normal thing to do. But if you can have a conversation with your broker and he says to you, actually, you know, sometimes they ask for an additional year of P60 or whatever it's called. If you send that over to me, then what that means is that as soon as the mortgage provider comes to your broker and says, well, we don't have this and we think we want this, he doesn't have to come, or she doesn't have to come and chase you. He's like, cool, I've got that. Here you go. Like, you want to sort of be preempting any hurdle. So a good broker and a good solicitor will really help you do that. You have to be your biggest advocate here as well. Really, like, because it's not necessarily something that they're just going to ask you off the bat. So really say to them, check in with them, what can I do to help speed this up? What may you need from me? And keep on it. Just call them. Just call them. Just decide that, you know, set your alarm that every week on a Wednesday afternoon you're going to call, after you've watched my video, obviously. But yeah, so that's what happens after your offer is accepted, and just a little bonus tip there that I think you should do. And yeah, that's it. So thank you guys. Anything else that any questions that you have about that process in general, or just the whole process in general, drop them in the comments below. Subscribe, see what we've got coming up, and connect with me on the social medias. Let's stay in touch. All right, take care. Bye.